Cuyahoga County Committee of the Whole meeting for Tuesday, September 26th is now called to order. Andrea, would you please call the roll?
Good afternoon, everyone. It is 3:07 p.m., and as a reminder to all in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Ms. Turner. Here. Ms. Stevens. Present. Ms. Simon. Ms. Simon is absent at the moment. Mr. Kelly.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Sweeney.
Present.
Mr. Tuma.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. Schran.
Here.
Ms. Conwell. Present. Council President Jones.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Andrea, is anyone signed in for public comment?
Yes, Mr. Kareem Hinton.
Come forward, sir.
Okay, I guess I'll start. Hello, everyone. Kareem Hinton here with the Cuyahoga County Jail Coalition. I'm just coming briefly here today. I'm not going to take a long time, so I won't even take the full time. But I just wanted to come in to say that I've been attending the various meetings and hearing a lot of the commentary that's been used. And I just wanted to remind members of County Council that the issue of the proposed new jail construction is not just an issue of Garfield Heights. Some council persons have been in attendance to some of those meetings that they have had in the city of Garfield Heights. And I just wanted to say that, again, it's all of Cuyahoga County that will be paying money into this jail for the next 40 plus years. With that being said, that since this is a countywide issue, I would like to think and hope that you all would consider not only dealing with the Garfield Heights residents, but this actually be something that you raise with residents of Cuyahoga County, because the residents of the county as a whole will be footing that bill for the next 40 plus years. I think it's disingenuous if you're just going to have meetings in the city of Garfield Heights. And so I would ask that you have, I know that you have meetings here in the chambers and you look for some of those comments to come from individuals, but in the same way or the same vein that particular attention was paid to the city of Garfield Heights, I would hope that you would attempt to do this in various places countywide. I have attended various county council meetings in different cities around Cleveland, and there is a sentiment that exists there that I think you need to hear. Thank you very much.
Josiah Quarles. Thank you, I'm sorry.
Good afternoon. My name is Josiah Quarles. I work at NEOC, Northeast Ohio Coalition for the Homeless. Firstly, I would like to kind of extend gratitude for folks who have been involved in the collaborative county and city strategic planning to eliminate unsheltered homelessness. And what I would like to do is place that into context, right? So it requires a lot of strategic thought, right? There are a lot of things at play when we create these strategic initiatives that are supposed to achieve these goals for the residents within Cuyahoga County. And so there are a lot of things that have gone into that. We talk about, source of income protections. We talk about a homeless bill of rights. We talk about investing in housing. We talk about investing in crisis and resource centers. All of these things are important, and there's not a silver bullet that solves everything. And I would like to call that to this moment while we're working through that process and taking input actually from those who would be affected by these kind of changes. There is a 60 family wait list on the family shelter. So there are 60 families who have attempted to receive shelter who are now waiting, right? And there is just not capacity within community to provide that. And there's a lot of factors that go into that. Emergency rental assistance has, evaporated. And so the eviction process has then sped up, and a lot of people are losing their housing and there's nowhere for them to go. And when we think about, a project like a new jail, right, we need to think about all of the various inputs, right, that feed into that process, and think about it holistically with the acuity and the gravity that it really needs to have. And so I just encourage everyone, when we're talking about this, to really think holistically about every process, right? Every interface that individuals have with the legal criminal system, every opportunity that we have for diversion, every investment that we can make to prevent these causes before we indebt the entire county for the next 40 years around a grand plan. Because grand plans are fine, but in order to change the trajectory of what we have been doing, we have to change the trajectory of what our investments are. And if we continue to invest in the same things, we continue to get the same results. Thank you.
That concludes the public comment portion for today's meeting, and I would also like the record to reflect that Ms. Simon is in attendance.
All right, thank you, Andrea. At this time, items referred to committee, confirmation hearing. If you would read the item into the record.
Resolution 2023-0241, confirming the county executive's appointment of Christopher Alvarado as Director of the Department of Regional Collaboration.
All right, welcome to the confirmation hearing at which council will consider the appointment of Christopher Alvarado as the Director of Regional Collaboration. The Department of Regional Collaboration was formally created in 2011 as its own appointing authority. The department operates under the direction of the county executive. This position is subject to confirmation by the council as a department director. The hearing process will proceed as follows. The nominee will be offered an opportunity to address his qualifications, motivations for seeking the position, and outlooks and plans regarding the office. Council members will then be offered the opportunity to ask questions of the nominee. For the sake of time and to allow the opportunity for everyone to ask questions, I'd ask members to limit themselves to 2 questions. Time permitting, additional questions may be asked once everyone has had an opportunity. Once all questions have been asked, we will entertain a motion to recommend that council approve or reject the nomination for second reading at tonight's council meeting and consideration for third reading at the October 10th council meeting. At this time, Madam Clerk,
We've already read the
already
item
read
into the record.
item into the record. So, Mr. Alvarado, take this time to address council. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Council President Jones and August members of County Council. I'm Christopher Alvarado, and I've been looking forward to this opportunity to come before you to introduce or reintroduce myself to you and to answer all of your questions. So for the past 9 years, I've served as the Executive Director for Slavic Village Development. We're the community development corporation that serves the Broadway Slavic Village neighborhood with over 22,000 residents and hundreds of businesses and organizations throughout the neighborhood. During my time in Slavic Village Development, I've had the pleasure to build and lead a team of over a dozen dedicated professionals who work with and for our residents, businesses, and institutions to promote civic engagement, community empowerment, and neighborhood investment. Now, when I first came to Slavic Village Development, I thought that the full name of the neighborhood was Broadway Slavic Village, epicenter of the foreclosure crisis, because there was not a single article written between 2009 and 2014, 2015 that did not reference the enormous numbers of homes that were open, vacant, and vandalized due to predatory lending, flipping, and the 2008 Great Recession. So, as a team, we were challenged to stabilize the neighborhood by securing abandoned homes, pursuing bad actors who looked to take advantage of first-time home buyers, renovating the homes ourselves and with local investors, and helping current homeowners to improve their homes, stay in their homes, and rebuild wealth through renovations. All of this work could not be done by a small organization alone. We had to collaborate with local and regional partners, including but not limited to the Cuyahoga County Land Reutilization Corporation, Cleveland Neighborhood Progress, the City of Cleveland's Departments of Building and Housing and Community Development, Cleveland Housing Court, Enterprise Community Partners, Forest City Enterprises and Safeguard Properties, and importantly, working with our 4 council members who represent this SVD service area. Over the past 9 years, we have been able to restore over 300 homes that otherwise would have been demolished. We decreased the percentage of vacant homes from over 15% of all the homes in the neighborhood to under 5%. The program that we developed and piloted by our team to help 1,500 families stay in their homes was adopted by the City of Cleveland as the Healthy Homes Initiative. And our housing development team provides services not only to 2 other neighborhoods in addition to Slavic Village, but also to 2 municipalities, the cities of Maple Heights and the cities of Garfield Heights. These and many other programs that have been designed and implemented by Slavic Village Development, a small nonprofit with limited funds and limited power that also works as a farm team whose staff members gain expertise and skills and sometimes leave for other opportunities, as you have me here before you, are things that were done through collaboration. As a small organization with vast responsibilities over essentially a city-sized neighborhood, Slavic Village Development must constantly partner with other entities to improve outcomes for our residents. And those partnerships have to be mutually beneficial. In the case of our housing development work with Mayor Annette Blackwell and the City of Maple Heights, they brought us in because, like Broadway Slavic Village, the City of Maple Heights had a surfeit of vacant homes, a lack of investors, and a need for professional services that would have been too expensive for the City of Maple Heights to create themselves. So, SVD and the City of Maple Heights co-created a program that welcomed local investors and potential homeowners, ensured that the properties met the standards set by the cities. Together, so far, we've successfully saved dozens of homes over the past 3 to 4 years. At the end of the day, the City of Maple Heights had safe, warm, and dry homes with stable families who contribute positively to their community. And both Slavic Village Development and the city shared development fees. So we were able to create this as a revenue generator for both the city and for our organization. And this is just one example of how SVD acts collaboratively and with regional partners in a mutually beneficial way. And this is a model for how I believe Cuyahoga County should spur regional collaboration. Now, prior to my time at SVD, I was embedded at the City of Cleveland's Land Bank for a 2-year fellowship through the White House's Strong Cities, Strong Communities initiative. My job was to tackle the year-long backlog of land bank applications by developing and implementing a new system to ensure that input was being received by city departments, by city council members, and by the community development corporations. And we were able to properly review those applications and decrease the amount of time that it took to inform citizens or businesses that their applications were approved or denied. Through the systems that we implemented, we decreased the amount of time that folks had to wait for their applications from over a year when I started to under 2 months by the time I left. And that's a system that continues to be used. If confirmed by you, I would return to where I began my professional career. For over a decade, I served at the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission, where I worked on master plans. And this is an example of a paid service that the Planning Commission provides to our communities in Cuyahoga County, and one that's a revenue generator for the commission. I also wrote the chapter on fiscal, environmental, and social impacts of retail development in the 2000 Northeast Ohio Regional Retail Study that covered Cuyahoga County and our 6 neighboring counties. And I was a part of the leadership team for the Cuyahoga Valley Initiative, a plan for the revitalization of the Cuyahoga Valley to make it an economic force, an environmental treasure, and a unifying element for the region. The plan that we developed has helped to push forward the development of the towpath trail, the stabilization plans for Irish Town Bend, the ecological reclamation of the Zachlon chemical plant property, the establishment of natural habitat along the navigation channel, and the increased use of green infrastructure across the watershed. My role as Director of Regional Collaboration, should I be confirmed by you, is to strengthen the county's work with our 57 municipalities and 2 townships, and to encourage and develop and grow collaborative programs that, first, are mutually beneficial to all the parties that are engaged in this collaboration. Second, these need to be measurable and guided by best practices and research while being flexible to the political realities that our mayors, trustees, council members, and managers face every single day. Third, these collaborations have to be fair and equitable to all of our citizens, particularly those who are concerned that regionalism will result in a weaker political voice and a weaker connection to their communities. These collaborations should also leverage the powers and resources that Cuyahoga County already has in place or should be developing. And we should be building a culture of collaboration over time. We celebrate the successes that have already taken place. We praise the hard work that our communities are doing to work with each other, and we remove barriers to collaboration while honestly assessing our setbacks so that we can learn from them. We will achieve those goals of regional collaboration by modeling collaboration. My understanding is that I may not have a large staff to work with, but I consider this to be an advantage rather than a liability, because we will then be working with all the different departments and with each of you to have a lot of different minds and perspectives coming at programs and issues that are of regional import. Regional collaboration is, by its very definition, a cooperative process. Should I be confirmed, I look forward to cooperating with each of you and your staffs in the years to come. I'm more than my professional life, however. I was born and raised in San Antonio, Texas, the son of a third-generation Mexican-American Texan and an immigrant from Vietnam. I've proudly called Cuyahoga County home for over 29 years. I came here as a graduate of the University of Notre Dame. This was kind of a tough weekend for me, with a philosophy degree, a need for direction, and the intent to only stay in Northeast Ohio for 2 years. I lived in and managed a home centered around adults with developmental disabilities called L'Arche Cleveland. And a lot of the folks who are served by L'Arche Cleveland continue to also be served by the Cuyahoga County Board of Developmental Disabilities. The 2 years I thought I was going to be staying to volunteer here in Northeast Ohio turned into 6 years, during which time I got my master's at the Levin College of Urban Affairs. The master's is in urban planning, design, and development. And that was actually where I first met Councilwoman Stevens. Like many graduates of the Levin College, I was mentored by Jim Kostelik, who at the time was the deputy director of the County Planning Commission, and he brought me in to begin my professional career. My wife, Christina, and I live in Cleveland's Detroit Shoreway neighborhood, just within Councilman Sweeney's district, where we bought our home 10 years ago. We're surrounded by family and friends, and we enjoy being ambassadors on behalf of Northeast Ohio to our friends from around the world. And while Christina and I do not have kids of our own, we have been a major part of the upbringing of my godson, Martin, who's a proud Edsman, and his sisters, Josie and Caroline. All 3 of them were raised by my friend and mentor, Sister Maggie Walsh Conrad, and Father Jim O'Donnell. For over 20 years, Sister Maggie not only adopted these 3 kids, but she parented dozens of children who needed assistance and who are assisted with the help of the caring staff of the Department of Children and Family Services foster care programs. Cuyahoga County is a power for good for all of our citizens, especially the most vulnerable, and I'd be proud to help strengthen the county's government and programs. At this point, you're probably tired of listening to me, so I welcome your thoughts, questions, and guidance. Thanks.
All right, thank you. At this time, any questions from council members? Councilman Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. President. Congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you, sir.
So I'm sorry about the gray and the red I have on. I hope it doesn't make you feel any worse. What would be your top 3 priorities on the short term, should you be given this position?
Councilman Kelly, through the council president. It was a fine weekend. I had a good time watching with my good friend, who's a very dedicated Buckeye. So we had a nice evening together. My three priorities coming in are less programmatic priorities and really more about procedures. Really, the first three things I need to do is to listen to each of you as council members. Each of you as districts, with your districts, you're actually working regionally already. You cover multiple municipalities and multiple neighborhoods, and I want to be able to get that perspective that you bring. I would also be reaching out to the different department and commission heads within Cuyahoga County to see what it is that each one of our boards, commissions, and departments are doing already, and what are the challenges that they have, and what can we build off of them. And the third thing is to reach out to a lot of our regional partners that have already been working on these to see what are plans that we need to be pushing forward, what are plans that may not have gone well, and what can we do to learn from them. So really, it's less about looking at specific projects and more about gathering information quickly so that we can move forward in a measured and thoughtful way.
Thank you. That's all right now. Thank you.
Councilman Miller.
Mr. President, to Mr. Alvarado, first, congratulations on your appointment to a position that can have a large regional impact for Cuyahoga County and beyond. I have two questions for now. And the first question is that in the past, under the new government, the Director of Regional Collaboration has also served as the executive's liaison to County Council. And my question is whether the position as it's been described to you currently includes that role, and if so, how you intend to implement it.
Council President, to the Councilman Miller. Right now, the board and commission appointments are under the purview of the Deputy Chief of Staff, David Rozum, and are managed on a day-by-day basis by Zoe Toscas, who is the Special Projects Manager. I'll be working with both of them, and my understanding is that this will be a part of my role.
So, by way of follow-up, will it also be part of your role to represent the executive in working with the council over a variety of issues that the executive may need to deal with the council about?
Council President, to the councilman, absolutely. Again, one of my first charges will be to meet with each of you, but also to make sure that the agenda and the ideas and the work of the council executive are in alignment with this council.
Thank you. And Mr. President, my second question flows from the fact that NOACA, the regional planning agency, of which I'm the council's representative on the board, is currently in the process of creating a 5-county climate action plan. Mm-hmm. And NOACA has chosen to create a comprehensive plan despite the fact that NOACA is expert in areas related to transportation and air and water quality, but not in some other areas that a comprehensive plan would cover. And so because of that, the NOACA is going to need to partner with other organizations, counties, municipal governments, nonprofit organizations, to help with the implementation. And my question is whether assisting with this implementation is a role that you believe that your office could help with?
Council President, to the councilman, absolutely. I think it would be appropriate for my department to be working with them, but also, again, to pull in the expertise and perspectives that we already have throughout county government and within this council.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, Councilman Strawn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Good luck to you in this process. The very first person to take over this role under the original founding of the county government at the direction of the county executive took on a major challenge, that being a consolidation of communities and as a task. And sometimes we talked about consolidation of service departments, which we saw was pretty darn effective on the telephone. The 911 exchange was effective. There was conversations about consolidation of schools, and obviously that was a consolidation of municipalities. Give me your philosophy on consolidation. You quickly pointed out that we had 57 communities and 2 townships. So what's your belief on what this role would entail as far as consolidation, if it would follow that of your first predecessor or where we are right now?
So, Council President, to the councilman. So I'd like to use I think in analogies oftentimes. So I'm going to use the analogy of marriage when it comes to consolidation. I think that while arranged marriages can work, given the right circumstances, I don't think the county's role should be that of a parent forcing a marriage to take place. I think a lot of what we can and should be doing within the Department of Regional Collaboration is to help communities to get to know each other, to build services together, to develop relationships that, again, are based on mutual benefit, making sure that one community is not taking advantage of the other community, or that communities aren't taking advantage of Cuyahoga County, or vice versa. And it's really going to be over time where communities are working together, maybe creating more services together, maybe doing revenue sharing. That's going to be up to them. Maybe they will come to the point where they say, it makes sense for us as communities. We've gotten to know each other for quite a while. We like each other a whole lot. Let's get together. That's the philosophy that I bring in. It's not something that that we can or should force as a Department of Regional Collaboration, but let's build stronger relationships between our communities and entities in Cuyahoga County, and perhaps that happens.
I think that it's a stretch to believe that where you have existing mayors and city council that there wouldn't be some nudging that would take place in order to get there. Whether that's a prearranged marriage or not, I don't know. But we also had just the opposite, by the way. If you go back, this position actually helped to try to resist consolidation under the service of the 911, which turned out to be probably one of the best ones going out there as far as communities, because it tried to say, no, we don't want to let that happen. So be careful of that too, because that was just the opposite. Instead of prearranging it, it was trying to resist, and actually at the direction of the county executive almost tried to stop it from taking place. My second point is you mentioned about the Irish Bend and your affiliation with what all took place there. There's recently been some publications on the top of the hill on the opposite side of the river from the organization of Dan Gilbert and the Cavs and all of that to open up that entire hillside on this side of the river. Your thoughts as far as how that fits into regional planning?
So I've been paying attention. I've been reading up on what these plans are, and certainly it ties very much into my past work at the County Planning Commission with regard to the navigation channel. Honestly, at this point, any kind of idea that I would have would need to be something that would be informed by, again, working with all of you, but also talking to folks with the city, other folks within Cuyahoga County. So I don't have any particular idea in mind for how that should take place. I will say just very broadly that economic development is a vital task of Cuyahoga County. One of the reasons I came here, or I was interested in this particular position and working with Cuyahoga County, is because as neighborhood CDC director, there was only so much that we could do around building stability and doing job creation. A lot of it takes place here within these walls and in partnership with other entities out there. And I wanted to be a part of building better jobs, helping folks to be able to get the training that they need, making sure that families are themselves stable and stable households to be able to keep those jobs. And so I think whatever that we can do as a county to support job creation, family stability that's tied to development would be a good thing.
Well, those plans, I believe, were released today, are published today. So you might want to get up to speed on that, because that body has come to this body many, many times and asked for money.
I'm looking forward to reading those plans.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, Councilman Sweeney.
Thank you, Mr. President. Chris, nice seeing you.
Likewise.
I had the privilege of knowing you a long time. You work hard, and I know you're going to continue working hard. So I'm excited that you're going to be part of the county co-worker family. And when you said you had a little staff, 57 mayors, 2 townships, 6 trustees, hundreds of council people. And I know you're going to jump in and want to be responsive to everyone. I'm just trying to figure out what's your thought process of managing that. And you have 2 extraordinary predecessors with Michelle and Mayor Kraus. So you're going to tap into their mindsets to see how they did it and forge your own path through the chair.
So, Council President, to the councilman. So I've had the good fortune of already talking to Ms. Pomerantz and getting her perspective on this particular role. I've not had the pleasure of talking to Mayor Kraus. I know one of the things that my predecessors did, should I be confirmed, was to meet with the individual mayors and try to do that as quickly as possible. I think that that's going to be important. Hundreds of council members, that might be more difficult. I think a lot of that work to reach out to folks will be through Mayors and Managers Association, through First Suburbs, but also working with each of you as council members, because you have those relationships as well with all of those elected officials within your districts. I'd like to be able to tap into that knowledge and that perspective.
And through the chair, that's exactly what I was going to recommend in the district I have the privilege of representing. Don't be shy. You know most everybody.
Very good.
We work together. And I just don't want you burned out, because I know your personality and how you just want to drive and not take any credit. That's the beauty of you. So I'm here to help you.
My bride will let me know if I look like I'm getting burned out.
And the marriage analogy was pretty good.
Thanks.
I enjoyed that. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, at this time, Councilwoman Conwell.
Thank you. Through the chair to Mr. Alvarado. Cuyahoga County will soon be discussing the biennial budget. Part of the question is, what experience do you have with developing a budget? But I know that you do with Slavic Village. Has your proposed budget been shared with you? And if so, do you have any thoughts on the current budget allocated to the Department of Regional Collaboration?
Council President, to Councilwoman Conwell, I have had the chance to take a look at the budget. I'm very comfortable with it. I come from an organization that has limited resources and a lot more needs than what it would look like we would be able to achieve. My perspective when it comes to budgeting has always been to be very liberal when it comes to projected expenses and very conservative when it comes to projected revenues. As a result, we've been able to take an organization that when I came in 9-10 years ago, regularly had to dip into our line of credit to one now that has a 3-month operating reserve. I think that's the way that we should work, not just as a department, but also as county government.
All right. Second question, the county code states that the Department of Regional Collaboration will advocate for and promote cooperation and collaboration with and among the state of Ohio and other political subdivisions. What issues will you be working on with the state of Ohio? How will you seek collaboration with state officials who may have different political ideologies than the executive? And what role will you play relative to the state and federal lobbyists that the county executive has retained?
So, Council President, to the Councilwoman, I've not been yet given a specific set of charges when it comes to working with the state of Ohio or with the federal government, but I do have extensive experience working with colleagues on both sides of the aisle through my work at Slavic Village Development, through some of my past board experience where we've gone down to the State House or gone to Congress. I am very comfortable working with and identifying areas of common interest between folks from different political ideologies. At the end of the day, everyone who accepts the responsibility of public service has the best interests of their constituents in mind, regardless of whether they're on the left or the right side of the aisle. And that's something I always keep in mind whenever I'm working with someone, regardless of their political affiliation.
All right, are there any other questions? Councilwoman Turner.
Thank you. Through the chair, Mr. Alvarez, congratulations on Alvarado.
No worries, mistakes taken all the time.
I want you to be somebody else. Congratulations on your nomination. My predecessor, Congresswoman Shontel Brown, along with her colleagues, courageously supported legislation that declared racism as a public health crisis. Among other things, as you consider this question, I wonder what your thoughts are about the various cities within the county having varying challenges: financial, housing, crime, education, employment, et cetera. I have a very diverse district. I have Pepper Pike, and I've got Cleveland wards 1 and 4. So I'm really interested in this answer. How do you intend to prioritize addressing these desperate needs and challenges?
Council President, to the Councilwoman Turner. So I have the pleasure of serving the neighborhood that is easily the most representative neighborhood with regards to the city of Cleveland. 49.9% of our residents are African American, 8% are Latino, and the rest of the neighborhood consists of either folks who have come up from Appalachia, or folks with Central or Eastern European heritage. And so I have a lot of experience working with a very diverse community and would like to be able to extend that experience throughout my work with the county. The challenges that our communities face can be vast. I think when it comes to prioritizing, certainly while I'm looking at the big picture and things that are over the horizon, there are some very immediate needs that a lot of our municipalities have, especially when it comes to being able to pull in the kinds of revenues that they need to be able to provide the services that their citizens provide. This is basically triage. We want to be able to tackle those immediate issues while also keeping our eye on those larger systemic and structural issues that may make it difficult for our municipalities, again, to provide services at a low cost and a high quality. And so a lot of those prioritizations will be based on what we see the communities need, and it's going to be, again, based on the input that I receive from each of you as council members and your staffs.
Okay. And to follow up, you were discussing budgetary items with Councilwoman Conwell. So I wanted to know, what challenges do you see to regionalizing municipal shared services, such as fire, EMS response, waste collection, et cetera? And do you believe the county should be playing an active role to encourage shared services among municipalities?
Council President, to the Councilwoman. Yes, we should absolutely encourage shared services where we can provide better results at a lower cost to our taxpayers. In the 2019 Levin College Regional Cooperation Survey, the Levin College polled municipalities to ask them their perspectives on regionalism and working together. And one of the questions they asked was, what were the greatest barriers to collaboration? And they are in order. Number one, strong attachment to local jurisdictional control. 2, resistance from local stakeholders. 3, limited time and resources that the municipalities have to convene local stakeholders. And 4, the fear that sharing tax revenue would lead to one community benefiting more than another. Our department has to take those concerns to heart and to be able to address them with each collaboration so that communities don't feel like they're being taken advantage of, they're losing control, or they're losing touch with their residents and their constituents.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheryl?
Good afternoon and congratulations. Many years ago, I think I was 21, so you must have been 15. I was teaching classes at the Levin College in graduate studies, hoping that other people would become planners like I was, so that our communities had a future in the hands of people who cared about the quality of life in our districts. So thank you for listening to the call to serve and working hard to do that. I want to compliment you for your years of service in Slavic Village and Broadway and the surrounding communities, especially your willingness to extend your services in Maple Heights, which showed the willingness to collaborate long-term. So I'm proud of whatever little bit you learned from me and the growth that you have represented for those of us who have a commitment to urban redevelopment. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any further questions before we consider a second round? Are there any other questions? All right. Yes, would you like to?
No, I just was wondering.
If you could have your microphone on, please.
All right.
Just hashing second round.
Well, Chris, let me say it has been a pleasure working with you over the course of your 9 years at Slavic Village. So I know your work. I know your good work, your reputation, and I look forward to seeing you, hopefully with the passage of working here with us in the county. I will ask one question. You mentioned earlier, again, the Maple Heights collaboration. Do you see that as something that could actually be expanded here?
Council President, absolutely. I bring that up as an example because regional collaboration is not just between the county and our municipalities or between municipalities and each other, but there are a number of other entities and resources that we could tap into. I don't believe in duplicating services when we don't need to. I think it results in basically watering down what those services can be. So I brought that up as a very specific example of how it is, what my mindset is, and how we can better serve our citizens.
Not just past experience, but something you could see being implemented here at the county.
Absolutely, Council President.
Fair enough. Excellent. All right, if there are no other questions, we will entertain a motion to recommend this resolution to the full council.
So moved. Second.
Properly moved and seconded, and that is for second reading, again, at tonight's meeting. And then ultimately third reading on the October 10th council meeting. So
Could I have my name added?
let's add Councilwoman Conwell's name.
Mr. President, could you add my name?
Add Councilwoman Stevens' name.
Turner.
Add Councilwoman Turner's.
Could you add my name to my constituent?
All right, Councilman Sweeney's. You can add my name as well, and we're taking all the suspense out of this here. All right, all right. Well, if there are no further comments, it's been properly moved and seconded. Let's do a roll call.
Calling the roll, Ms. Turner,
Yes.
Ms. Stevens,
Yes.
Ms. Simon, Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney,
Absolutely.
Mr. Tuma,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher, Mr. Schron,
Yes.
Ms. Conwell,
Yes.
Council President Jones.
Yes.
The motion carries.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. All right. At this time, we are going to prepare for our executive session. All meetings of the Cuyahoga County Council are open to the public under the Ohio Open Meetings laws. Under that law, council may go into executive session during a meeting for specifically authorized purposes. During executive session, council confers outside of the hearing of the public. Council may not make any decisions about any matters in executive session. All decisions are made in public. This afternoon, the council will go into executive session for the purpose of discussing a collective bargaining matter and pending or imminent court action. During this time, our live stream will be down, and we ask all those not specifically needed for the executive session to remain in council chambers. Council members will convene in the adjacent Committee Room A and will re-enter the meeting once the executive session has ended. Is there a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing a collective bargaining matter and pending or imminent court action?
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, we'll call roll on the motion to go into executive session.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Stevens? Yes. Ms. Simon? Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Tuma?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher? Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Council President Jones?
Yes,
You have a quorum. I'm sorry, motion carries.
carries. All right. We will adjourn for executive session. At this time, we are reconvening and we are officially back on the record. At this time, is there any miscellaneous business? If not, our meeting's adjourned and we will reconvene at 5 p.m. for our regular council meeting.